ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the review show of Crown Jewel 2025. If you're watching this after the show, make sure to hit the like, hit the subscribe, and put down in your comments, if you're not watching this live, if you're watching this as a video, put down in the comments down below your overall thoughts of the show. I want to see exactly what you guys are thinking. What an absolutely phenomenal night of professional wrestling we have seen so far. We have seen some of the greatest, and it's not even 5 o'clock in the afternoon for me. It's 4:30. Fucking beautiful time. Thank you ever so much, WWE. And I do apologise for the Australians, because now they've got to be up late at night for it. But what a night of professional wrestling it was. We had some of the greatest action of all time. We've had two people being crowned champions, sort of. We've had two crownees tonight. We had one of the greatest matches of all time. We had an absolute hometown hero come back for it. And we had this, the kicked off of the match here. If you haven't already, make sure to welcome yourselves into the chat. Make sure to give yourself a little bit of who you are. If you're new around here, if you're not, then let everyone know who you are. And if you haven't already, please make sure to go and like and subscribe the video as well, moving on through around here as well. But we're not going to be hanging around today because I have a lot to do today, and I have sat down while my family have gone. And yes, I know it is the 11th of October, but shopping. I am worried about what they are going to bring home. So, with all that being said, and thinking about that all in our minds and how everything's been going so far, what we're going to do for you now, ladies and gentlemen, is get straight into the first match of the night. And that was Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed, the Tribal Chief versus the Tribal Thief. This was Bronson Reed coming back to his home country, his homeland, and going up against Roman Reigns. We know the last time that was happening in Perth, in Australia, was for Elimination Chamber. And Bronson Reed was injured at that time when they were going back to Australia before and was unable to compete. This time, the man is allowed to come back, and this time, the man fucking delivered. What an absolutely incredible match this was. Fighting all around the arena to start off with. Going all around, Roman Reigns high-fiving young fans in the audiences. Yeah, Bronson Reed taking the beating, going around. Then there was a trash can, or a bin, as we call it, out there where there was a cricket bat with the Ashes coming up very, very soon. England v Australia will be happening. I will be covering that on Sports Hot Takes on the Mark Talks Football channel, so make sure you go and check that out. But we very much that. They had the AFL football, the Australian football, and they also had a rugby as well. Wade Barrett was right. Roman Reigns would have been penalised because he threw the ball forwards, and you can't do that in rugby because it's not that stupid American football, even though I like it, and even though I do predictions on the American football. It's very much, for me, the one that I can jibe at because it's quite the easiest one to do so. But that's where we're at. It was an absolutely incredible fight so far. We also had Roman Reigns fully on top of this. Paul Heyman watching. You also had the absolutely brilliant Bronson Reed fighting back in this. Trying to wear down your Tribal Chief. Trying to beat him down and doing a great job of it. Doing it was Roman Reigns that did a Samoan drop through a chair onto the back of Bronson Reed, which took the big man out. And then there was a stop sign. There was a table that was set up and was talking about as well, and doing all of that type of thing. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to the interferences. And we knew that it was going to be interferences because this was an Australian street fight. And we all knew what was going to happen. Roman Reigns was going to go and try and take out Bronson Reed, but Bron Breakker dropped the barricade, speared the bloke beyond belief. Then Jimmy and Jey Uso. And then there was the Shield-type powerbomb to send Roman Reigns through a table. I need a drink. To send Roman Reigns through the table. Also, I will point this out as well. If you see me looking over here, as we're live, Reading are currently playing. And I'm just checking the highlights. Not checking the highlights, just making sure Reading are not getting battered and I'm not crying. So that's basically where we are at the moment. At the moment, it's 1-1, so we're fine. So, yeah, it was very much of then it happened. Then the table situation happened. They were going to go and drag Roman back inside of the ring, but then Jimmy and Jey Uso, even though Roman Reigns told them specifically that there is going to be no more, I do not need any help. I need to do this on my own. What are people going to think of me? It then got to a point where Jimmy and Jey did make their way out and try to help Roman Reigns. But at the end of the day, it cost Roman, because after Jimmy and Jey were taking out Bron Breaker with the 1D, then they were on the outside. Bron Breaker took out Jimmy Uso by spearing him through a barricade. And then Jey Uso went to go and spear Bronson Reed through the table, but he jumped out the way to spear Roman Reigns through the table. And then there's this argy-bargy going at the end, but we'll talk about that. But then that led to Bron Breakker running back in, spearing Jey Uso out of his shoes, and then the tsunami to win. We spoke about this on the prediction show. We said that Bronson Reed has history in Asia to beat a big person, a big name. He did that against Okada when he went to New Japan. He talked about it as well in an interview I saw, talking about how he beat Okada in the big match show, and now he'd gone back all the way. I'm still watching. We actually bowled someone out in the cricket. Come on, we're nearly there. I'm trying to keep an eye on the Women's World Cup match and Reading as well. So it's all going a bit going on around there. But it was interesting because at the point at the end of the match, Roman Reigns saying, I didn't need you at all. I didn't need your help. You cost me this match. But then there was a little bit of dialogue that I haven't seen much people pick up on, but I picked up on it. Was he said that I don't want to see you until Christmas. Now, I don't know. We do have War Games before that in November. We're going to be talking about WWE's schedule of premium live events and everything coming up for the end of the year now. So I'm not sure what's going to happen. There's talk that one of the Jimmy or Jey will go into War Games. There's talk that Jacob Fatu could be helping out as well and that type of thing with Roman. There's a lot more stuff that I'm seeing around what could potentially happen. So who knows what's happening on from there? But Jimmy Uso and Jey now have separate. Well, Jey saying I've had enough of this. He's never going to change. And then he left. We're leaving Jimmy in the room. Now we're gonna get to the next match where I think this was absolutely phenomenal. This was the first Crown Jewel Championship match, and it was between Stephanie Vaquer and Tiffany Stratton. Stephanie Vaquer coming into this being the champion only, I think it was like 20-something days ago, and then going up against Tiffany Stratton, who is the WWE Universal Champion, hasn't been beaten in 2025, beaten Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania, had everything going her way this year, has been undefeated, hasn't lost, hasn't really looked like losing that title, apart from times where we thought Jade Cargill might be her time to step up and take over, but it really wasn't her time to do so. If you watch this match, and I'm also got notes here as well, so if I look over, I'm looking at my notes as well at the same time. So I did think that Stephanie Vaquer at the start of this match looked a little bit more like the heel character. The way that she was laying in the moves, with the way that she was slowly and methodical, the way that she was beating down Tiffany Stratton was very much the heel type character. And it was quite good to see that Stephanie Vaquer can play that type of character in there as well to try and change things up. So it was interesting to see what he did there. Tiffany got back into it, did the old, I call it the Sami Zayn comeback, where they just sort of get beaten down and then fight their way back. But there was a point in this match that needs to be discussed. It was the swanton that turned into the knees up from Tiffany, from Stephanie Vaquer onto Tiffany Stratton. When she put the knees up from the swanton, it did look like it knocked Tiffy for quite a lot of this match. It looked like at points of that where Tiffy just looked completely utterly out of it and didn't know what to do, didn't know where to go, didn't know what was doing this. And yes, Vaquer, I can't speak Spanish. I would love to know what that means. Can I translate if I go on my phone? Oh, hold on. So it's Chilean. No, I want to know what this means. Right, so it's something to do with Chile because there's a lot of Chile flags I can see on it down here, not coming up over here. But yeah, Chilean superstar Stephanie Vaquer. I did predict before this match that Stephanie Vaquer would be the one to win. We had a Devil's Kiss. We had the most beautiful moonsault ever, which was missed. And then Vaquer hitting the moonsault spiral tap, spinning bollocks, which then was able to lead Stephanie Vaquer to picking up the victory and winning this match in what was an absolutely brilliant, which means now there are two women that have won the Women's Crown Jewel Championship. That has been Liv Morgan and Liv Morgan and Stephanie Vaquer. Stephanie Vaquer only being champion for 20-something days, already picking up the WWE Women's World Heavyweight Championship. What a 2025 she's having. Not only did she win the double championship, the North American Championship and the NXT World Championship, defending it as well, and defending the NXT World title until she lost it to JC Jane, who is still the NXT World Champion, to now going onto the main roster and beating Tiffany Stratton, who was undefeated in 2025, and the amount of really good matches that this will now set up for the future as well. And you've got to admit as well, Stephanie Vaquer and Tiffany Stratton, both young superstars, This is going to be many, many matches in the future, and I'm really, really excited for it. And what a match it was for it. I'm going to give both ratings for both matches. The first match of the night, I'm going to give 4 out of 5. And then this match here, I'm going to give a 4.5 out of 5. I just think that there was a time with Tiffany, and it's not her fault at all, where she just looked a little bit knocked out. And it's sort of slowed things down, that the momentum that they were going on that moment. So it was a little bit of a shock to what was happening, but it was a really good one as well. So massive props to the ladies. One of the best matches on the night. But now we're going to go to my actual match of the night. But before we get to that, there is a promo backstage between Paul Heyman, Bron Breakker, and Bronson Reed, where he was praising Bronson Reed for the performance that he did and what he'd done. He then also said as well that there will be a celebration when they go back to the US. But there was a time when he said during that promo that if Seth at any point asks for help, you do not go out there to help him. This is a mano v mano. It's whoever wins, wins. And we'll get to that a little bit later on. And then Bron Breakker said to Bronson Reed, what happens if Seth loses? And basically, Paul Heyman then come back in and said, well, if he loses, we know what we need to do. So teasing something there where it was very much pointing out there is a massive issue. But if Seth Rollins does lose and maybe the three of them go on their own with an additional Brock Lesnar or whatever it is. But an interesting setup for later on in there. We're also now going to talk about my match of the night, my match of the year, my absolute favorite match that I've seen so far. John Cena versus AJ Styles. And this was phenomenal. Not only was the entrances from both superstars brilliant, AJ Styles bringing the TNA shorts back, no gloves, old school AJ Styles. John Cena giving him a massive props in the emotional opener promo from Alicia Taylor, hyping up this match, and AJ Styles getting ready for it, because I've written things down here. After this match here, John Cena has 4 dates left. It is today. Then we have Raw in Boston, Massachusetts, which will be happening November 10th. A week later, he will be in New York City. And then a week and a bit later after that, he will be at Survivor Series San Diego. And then his final ever match will be Saturday night's main event, December the 13th in Washington, D.C., according to WrestleVotes. Those are the final dates with it. But now we've got to talk about the match. A skull-crushing finale, an accolade, a Walls of Jericho, a Sister Abigail, a Randy Orton DDT, an RKO, a chokeslam, tombstone, another AA. AJ Styles hitting the 450 he hadn't hit since I haven't seen him do in a very long time. A sweet chin music as well, plus many I probably missed as well. But what a fucking phenomenal match. It was so much fun. You didn't know who was going to win. You had AJ getting all the props as well, which he deserves. AJ Styles deserves that Intercontinental Championship. Dominic Mysterio deserves to be pushed on and move forward. I would love to see Dominic go really take that AAA Mega Championship a little bit further, but also be in that main event area as well. I think he's slowly pushing it. I would like one of those dates that John Cena's got to be against Dominic Mysterio. I would love to have that match as well. I like the one against Boston where it will be hopefully John Cena versus Carmelo Hayes. Could be a lot of fun as well. New York, you could have anyone. San Diego. It's just there's so many that we want to see and so much fun, and I'm really interested to see. But now we won't see John Cena for another month, where he will now be going off, and it will be coming back for Raw in Boston on November 10th, where we will be seeing him next. AJ Styles, where does he go here? The Intercontinental Championship. Looking in what AJ Styles can do moving forward from here, seeing if he can finally win that Intercontinental Championship and seeing if he can really push on and push forward to get that championship he hasn't won before. And exciting to see what there is moving forward from there. But what a match. Just the emotions that it brought out of everyone, the way that it made everyone feel as well, the way that it just pushed every button of happiness, sadness, and joy all into one is just phenomenal to watch. And it's just amazing to say and to see, and I really look forward to seeing what goes on moving forward from there. So I'm going to give that match a 5 out of 5. I think it was absolutely phenomenal. There was no negative for me, all positive, and I will not change that. Next up, coming to the one before the finale, and we have Australia's own Rhea Bloody Ripley teaming up with Iyo Sky against Asuka and Kairi Sane. And what a performance this was. You can tell there was a little bit of jitters. You know, with Rhea Ripley, when she's sort of trying to get herself going and trying to make sure that she can feel it all, is when she really starts singing her entrance and really gets herself going. You can tell that there's a little nerves before. What was the score? I can't focus, it's too far away now. For the cricket. So you can really tell when she was trying to get herself going, and you can tell she had family members in the front row, the whole crowd, the Aussie, oi, 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 were all fully behind her, really pushing for her to get going and moving forward. And it was amazing to see. Seeing someone in their hometown is a bit like when I've gone to a WWE event and I've seen Pete Dunne or Tyler Bate when they come and the reception they got. It's just, they are phenomenal athletes, and seeing Rhea Ripley wrestle again in Australia like she did for Elimination Chamber as well is beautiful to see. Iyo Sky proving why she's one of the best. Asuka really showcasing why she is the standard bearer and the door opener for the Asian athletes that come from specifically Japan or China that have come over from there to really get going. The likes like Kairi Sane, plus many others as well that are potentially going to be coming over as well. It's just Asuka really showcasing why she is. This was hard hitting. This was full throttle, full metal mayhem from the women, and it was phenomenal to see. They did everything that they could. Also, as well, Rhea Ripley hitting the Riptide, which then went into a moonsault by Iyo. I was very much on the level of Kairi sacrificed herself for Asuka. And then Kairi then got pinned, which, by the way, Kairi's best performance she's done in WWE by far. And it was amazing to see. And she deserves all the props that she gets. Kairi Sane is phenomenal. All four women were phenomenal in this match. And then seeing the match that happened and the way that it finished as well was great to see as well. From that, I'm quickly going to do a little bit of an ad break, but not like a normal ad break. If you don't know, I have a few shows coming for you as well. I have WWE 2K25. I also have Football Manager, and I also have that's about it, and men's mental health. But what we're going to be talking about tomorrow, this sports update. That will be coming live to you tomorrow, noon UK time. That will be 5 a.m. Eastern. That will be coming out. You can watch that throughout the day for that. But I will be around for that. But we also announced as well a Football Manager series that will be coming to FM26 when it gets released. The first up is one going to be a lot of fun for me, and it's the first time I'm going to be able to play this. This is the intro to the first series we're going to be doing on Football Manager 26 on Mark Talks. We will be doing the Royals, that is Reading Football Club, and we will be trying to get them to win the Premier League and the Champions League, to win all domestic trophies before we finish that series. But we will also be doing this as well. That is right. We're going to be doing a Women's World Wanderer where we will be going around the world and we will be going to every single continent that the women's game is on and winning the league. And the end game is to be England manager when they actually release the international database to try and win that. If no England, then it will be winning the WSL will be the main one that we finish off with. But we also have as well the Royals Round Table. That is correct. We have got the Royals Roundtable coming to you every Wednesday, and the part of the sports hot takes is the Royals Roundtable, where we talk about Reading Football Club, where they are currently in the final 10 minutes. To my knowledge, there'll be additional 10 minutes to the end of the game. 1-1 at the moment against Exeter, a team that we have to be beating. So interesting to see. My review of that will be happening tomorrow as well, and I will be able to do a full depth review of Reading coming to you on Wednesday, because the next game we have is, I don't even know who we got anymore. Then the next game after that will be, and on Wednesday we will be doing a build up to Cardiff City as well, talking about that. But finally, the final match of the night and the main event of it was Cody Rhodes versus Seth freaking Rollins for the WWE Men's Crown Jewel Championship, with the undisputed WWE champion. It was Cody Rhodes going up against the WWE World Heavyweight Champion on Seth freaking Rollins. Now, who's going to come out on top? Who's going to be the best? Who was going to be the best? Well, what I can tell you is this was a lot of emotion in this. Seth Rollins knows that he hasn't beaten Cody Rhodes, and he really did feel as someone who can't beat Cody Rhodes in a match, someone who struggles to really get through this and get going. And you could just tell by the emotions in that. Seth going after Michael Cole, trying to get things going in his head, really sort of trying to get out of his own head into a certain extent, really trying to push himself further as well. So it was interesting to watch exactly what Seth Rollins was trying to do to himself to get him going from that. But if you talk about it as well, Seth Rollins we're doing the coast to coast, but with a headbutt. With Cody sort of sat out branched and then headbutting him from one side of the ring to the other was ridiculous and stupid work, but absolutely phenomenal to watch. We then also saw as well the watch that has been built up throughout this whole of this rivalry, as in this watch was the significant reason of why Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins were friends, because this is what the watch that Cody Rhodes brought for Seth Rollins for helping him at WrestleMania. And it's been this whole build up about the friendship that they had and the way they did it and what was going to happen. And we all knew it was going to be used, but we didn't know which way it was going to be used and if it was going to be used and missed or properly used. At one point, it looked like the referee got knocked out of the way and it wasn't going to happen. And then the watch was used, cracked him right in the cranium to a stomp and then a middle rope stomp. But before we had that, we had a super crossroads from the top rope. WWE 2K26, you better put that in the game, because that is going to be a heck of a lot of fun to use. And you also have the super stomp in the game anyway, so it's even funner to use that one. But that was absolutely phenomenal to watch, for then Seth Rollins to be crowned your Men's Crown Jewel champion and to be crowned the WWE Undisputed. Now can take that monkey off his back, saying that he's never beaten Cody Rhodes. and now he has. There is no if, buts, or maybes about it. Seth Rollins has now beaten Cody Rhodes. Where does this go from here? There will probably be a celebration Monday night on Raw. If you're from the UK, that will be starting at 1 p.m. UK time in the afternoon, 8 a.m. Eastern, and it will be 7 p.m. in Australian time. So make sure you go and check that out, because we will be talking about it. We will have the Intercontinental Championship match between Penta and Dominic Mysterio. Which Rusev will interfere, by the way. We then have the tag team match between Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, which Bayley we're going to get against the Judgment Day. Becky Lynch will probably want to say something against Maxine Dupree. Plus much, much more. NXT, after drawing 2-2 with TNA. How did Bound for Glory go? I just remembered Bound for Glory, and I hadn't even looked. We're going to have a look now, because I have been so busy. Is it Bound for Glory is next week, isn't it? It's not this week. 12th. Tomorrow. It will be happening tomorrow, Bound for Glory. So we will be talking about that. So we have the matches for Bound for Glory. There are 9 matches on there, and it will be the Inspiration versus Elegance brand. We have Leon Slater versus Javon Evans for the TNA X Division Championship. Call Your Shot Gauntlet, 20-person intergender Call Your Shot Gauntlet. Winner receives a trophy and a contract and revote anytime. Tessa Blanchard versus Gia Miller in a singles match. Frankie Kazarian versus Steve Macklin for the TNA International Championship. The System of Moose, Alicia Edwards, Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards, and JDC versus Order 4. Mustafa Ali, Tasha Steele, Special Agent O, Jason Hawk, and John Schuyler. We then have Kalani Jordan versus Indy Hartwell for the TNA Knockouts Championship. The Hardys are Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy in a one final table for the TNA World Heavyweight Tag Team Championship and the NXT Tag Team Championship. And then in your main event will be Mike Santana versus Trick Williams. There has also been unfortunate news as well over the last day or so that NXT talent has been released. And I am just going to get the full names. NXT. So it was... the full list is Wesley has left, who has not finally left, but now able to open up his wings after doing an absolutely magnificent job with the North American Championship and just sort of going into oblivion after that. Had that group, but just didn't really do much with that. Stevie Turner, and the British lass is now going out on her own, where she was the general manager to Evolve and now going out. Lance Onawahi, Jin Taylor, Haz Jameson, Jimar Hampton, Sonny Summer Sorrell, Brandon BJ Ray, and Draco Knox have all been released from their contracts from WWE, where they will be going off now and doing their thing, where they weren't really being used. They didn't have any stories or plans for them. So the good thing for them, then they can now go out and there's so much more promotions out there and so much more. TNA will definitely have Wesley back doing the Treehouse with MSK, going back to them, bringing that all back together most probably. Or Wesley can go anywhere. Absolutely phenomenal talent. Looking forward to seeing what he could do. And Stevie Turner as well. Keeping my eye out for her as well. But we're going to end it all there. Thank you guys ever so much for joining me. Half an hour show. Fucking beautiful. And now I can go eat my dinner. And my wife